Hi everyone, and welcome to Back to School Night. YouTube translation. Closed caption translation is available through YouTube in multiple languages by following the steps below. Click the settings icon at the bottom of the video screen, click subtitles/closed caption, click auto translate, and then select a language. Welcome to Glasgow Middle School Orchestra. My name is Miss Touzinsky, or Miss T for short, and I have an assistant director this year, Miss Elizabeth, who goes by Betsy, Dizon. She's coming to us from Glen Forest Elementary and Parklawn Elementary. So lucky for us, this is a name and face that many students recognize. A little bit about me. This is my 10th year teaching, and it's an exciting year for sure. I've also taught high school and I've taught elementary strings. I went to JMU to study music education, and I've just started my master's program at UVA. Bottom line, I love teaching middle school kids. A little bit about me personally. I just adopted a dog. His name's Bentley, and I've shared a picture of him. I've also found a new love for plants, and I now almost have 20 of them. I just got engaged last week, and I play fiddle in a bluegrass band called Two Ton Twig. A little bit about Miss Dizon. This is also her 10th year teaching. Though it's her first year at Glasgow, it is her 5th year at Glen Forest and Parklawn. She is still teaching at both of those other schools as well. She went to college in Ohio and went to Kent State for her master's. She also taught middle school in Kentucky and is excited to be back at the middle school level. Personally, she loves doing crafts. She lives with her husband, her son, and her dog. And we both discovered that we both speak German. Learning in orchestra. I believe that students can learn best when they are open to playing music that might be new to them, when they're willing to make mistakes and learn from them, when they are ready to focus on musical learning during class time, and when they give their best and they have fun. To be successful, students will need to make a regular time each week to practice their instrument, even if it's just for a few minutes. Students should also fully engage in our synchronous classes, and they can revisit class recordings for practicing later in the day. Our curriculum. What will your student learn this year? Here are our units of study, including but are not limited to the following topics. A fundamental knowledge of their instrument, whether that's the parts or how to take care of it. Fundamental technique and skills, how to play, how to put your fingers down on the strings. Being able to read, notate, and perform music. Musical form and composition. Students will have the opportunity to create their own music. Creativity through improvisation. They'll showcase their creativity by creating music on the spot. Being able to describe, analyze, critique, and evaluate music. Students have been doing these since the beginning of the school year. Sight reading, being able to read a piece of music for the first time. And then musical expression and style, exploring what that is. But bottom line, yes, we will be playing, even in virtual orchestra. Grading and assessments. Formative assessments are checks for understanding during the learning process. Summative assessments are judgments about what content and skills were learned. And then other feedback about how your student is organized and behaving in school will be on the report card, including asynchronous and homework. On the right side of your screen, you'll see Flipgrid, Google Classroom, Sight Reading Factory. These are just a few of the learning platforms we'll be using for students to showcase their hard work and their successes in orchestra. For teacher support, available on Blackboard 24/7, you will see our syllabus. There will be contact information for both me and Mrs. Dizon. Embedded will also be the Google Classroom calendar. You'll be able to see when student assignments are due. And a weekly lesson grid that states both the learning targets for the week and evidence of student learning. So keep in mind, this is what parents can view and you can easily access to check in on what is needed for your student. In addition, on Google Classroom, we offer office hours on Mondays and on Thursdays, and students can access those through Google Classroom's calendar. Assignments will be posted through Google Classroom, even if they're linking them to Flipgrid or Sight Reading Factory. Synchronous recordings from all of our classes. The materials that are either used in class or for their assignments are posted there. And again, the weekly lesson grids will be posted in Google Classroom as well. Additional online resources include the Flipgrid and Sight Reading Factory, and then I've put the email address both for me and for Mrs. Dizon at the bottom of the screen. How to support your child in virtual orchestra. Ask questions such as, what are you learning in class? What pieces are you working on? Show me your grid. It's also important to help students establish a place to be able to practice play their instrument. So please have a conversation with your student about where that is in your home. Homework. What assignments do you have to do? What do you need to complete them? Or let's look at your grid together. During this time, students need that accountability. So having that connection with you will really help for them to be successful. All right, supplies in orchestra. Besides pencils, an agenda, paper, or computer, we very much need instruments. Students are receiving instruments either from school or from the store. Besides the instrument, they also need to have a bow. They need to have rosin, which is used on the bow. Violinists need shoulder rests. Viola players need shoulder rests. And then cello and bass players need what's called a rock stop. Music stand is an optional supply and can be very helpful when a student is practicing their music. And then again, a quiet place to practice. Here's a little bit more about orchestra. On the left side, we have orchestra frequently asked questions. I have posted these on Google Classroom. Please feel free to look through and see if any of your questions have already been answered through that document. If students can't play during class time, have them visit the recordings later in the day. This is especially applicable for students that maybe live in an apartment complex and have class at 7:30 in the morning. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out. Ms. Dizon and I are here to help and especially want to make your students successful in virtual orchestra. Communication. Email updates will be sent weekly or as needed. Please reach out if you have not received an email yet, as I've already sent a few updates. And then check out our newsletter. In hopes of staying connected with our community, we've created the GMS Legato. Legato is the musical term for connected, and we want to make sure that we're keeping all of our families in the loop with what's going on in orchestra. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to a great year. Talk to you soon.